Alright, so today's video is going to cover properties of expressions combined, and because we are all about helping students learn, let's just go ahead and quickly start out today with a couple shout outs. So I want to go ahead and shout out my 7th period students, specifically the Ohio State team led by Captain Jayla, Brittany, Alyssa, and Prince. Okay, shout out you guys for being top team in period 7. Let's go ahead and shout out the top team in period 5. Here we have, looks like Samantha's team, Auburn Tigers. Shout out Taylor, Zulema, Joy, and Anaya for being the top team in period 5 right now. And the top team in period 3, led by, let's see, looks like Deja, the Trojans. Okay, we've got Pickles, Deja, Kennedy leading that team in period 3. Okay, shout out to those fabulous students that we have at Betty Fairfax. So today's video, we're just going to justify why we can go from line to line to line to line, which property is allowing us to manipulate the expression. The first one always starts off with given. So we go ahead and mark E for that. It's given to us. From line 1 to line 2, what I want to do is I want to identify what's different about the lines. And the first thing that I notice is that there's an exponent here, and now there's no exponent. And this one's a little tricky because it's not a typical, it's not a property, but this one actually has to do with expanding the exponents. There was 2 of these sets of parentheses being multiplied, and then you can see the 2 sets are now being multiplied here. So this one is actually H. It's a wild card. I got the little star next to it for the wild card. And then from line 2 to line 3, okay, what's different between line 2 and line 3? So we're comparing these 2 lines. So I'm just going to highlight what's different in line 2. And what I see is different is there's no longer an x minus h in the parentheses. And so I know it has to do with parentheses, so I'm going to come down here and ask myself, is everything in line 2 the same as line 3, or are there new symbols? Are there different symbols? And clearly there are different symbols. So this is actually going to be distribute, which is F. And you can see that they took the negative a and they distributed it to the x and the negative h. Now I'm comparing line 3 and line 4. So line 3 and line 4. And I'm going to highlight what I see is different. And again, here I see a negative ax outside. And then there should be a plus ah. So it has to do with parentheses again. So are the symbols the same or are the symbols different? The symbols are different. And so here they're actually distributing again. When it has to do with parentheses and the symbols are different, we know it's distribution. And they're actually distributing this set of parentheses to the negative ax and to the positive ah. Line 4 to line 5. So we got line 4 to line 5. What's different, and again, there's parentheses. Something's going on with parentheses because they're there and then they're not. So I asked myself, are the symbols the same or are they different? The symbols are now different. There's an x squared here now. So again, they're distributing. We know it's distribution. Here, what are they distributing? Whoops. Why does it do that? They're distributing the ax, negative ax to the x and the negative h, and the ah to the x and the negative h. From line 5 to line 6. So let's compare these 2 lines. What's different? Did something switch or did the parentheses change? So I'm looking, okay, a, x, x, a. Okay, now here's where the change is. So it was a, x, h, and now it's h, x. So they're switching something. Switch means to commute. And they're commuting things that are they commuting things that are being added or multiplied? Since there's no sign between the x and the h, we know that they're being multiplied, so we can select the commutative property of multiplication, which is G. Okay, so line 6 to line 7. I'm highlighting what's different. Okay, I see there's no parentheses here, and now there's parentheses. Okay, now I ask myself, are the symbols the same or are they different? And I compare this, ax squared plus ahx, ahx. Okay, so the symbols are the same. So do they put parentheses around things that are being added, or do they put things around parentheses around things that are being multiplied? And since they group these 2 and there's a plus sign between them, we know it's the associative property of addition, which is D. Okay, so now I'm comparing line 7 to line 8. and I'm going to highlight what I see is different. So did something switch, or are there parentheses that are different? And it looks like there's something to do with the parentheses. And this one is actually a wild card. This one's another wild card. Okay, so they went from two things up here to one thing. So they combined these like terms to 2AHX. So this is actually going to be the wild card C, simplify. Comparing lines 8 to line 9, highlighting what I see is different. Okay, this time I see parentheses. They put parentheses around, they put parentheses around these things right here. Are the symbols the same or are they different? Looks like the symbols are all the same. Did they put parentheses around things that are being added or multiplied? They put things around that are being subtracted, so we know that that's the same as addition. So associative property of addition. Okay, so now we're comparing lines 9 to lines 10. And I'm looking to see what's different. And I notice that they switched something. Okay, so they switched these two things. The 2AHX was before the negative AH squared, so I know switch means commute. And looks like there's a plus sign between the things that they switched, so we know it's commutative property of addition, which is B. Okay, so lines 10 and line 11, I'm looking to see what's different. I should have highlighted the above part, sorry. They switched these things. Just going to go back and make that amend that. I'm looking to see what's different between line 10 and line 11. Okay, again, there's this and this. It looks like they're in a different order, so they switched. Nope, they did not switch. Everything's in the same order. So what's different? What's different is the parentheses. The parentheses are now around these things. Are the symbols the same or are they different? The symbols are all the same. Negative AX squared, negative AH. Okay, the symbols are all in the same order. Did they put parentheses around things that are being added or multiplied? There's a minus sign between them, so we know that it's addition, so associative property of addition. Okay, from lines 11 to line 12. Did they switch something or did the parentheses change? And it looks like they switched, okay? They switched the negative AX squared and the negative AH squared. They're in a different order now. Okay, we know that switch means to commute, and since there's a subtraction sign between them, we know that it's commutative property of addition, which is B. And last line, between lines 12 and lines 13, switch or parentheses, clearly parentheses. And it looks like they dropped parentheses around things that are being subtracted, which is the same as addition. So the symbols are the same, and they dropped the parentheses around things that are being added. So associative property of addition, which would be D. And that's the end of the example. So yep, that's that. Thanks for watching.